Headed over to Mike's house for a Sunday morning grading session. We get together and grade books and figure out what needs to be done to them to get the highest grade and what we should submit and what we shouldn't. So I got a box of stuff here, and then Mike's birthday's this week, so we're gonna celebrate by going to see the Black Panther today. So anyway, we just saw Black Panther, and as is our tradition,
full of Mexican.
We got full of Mexican afterward. Now it's time to go grade some comics. Hello. So with full bellies, we're going through grading and make up a list and then go through the books one by one and see if they're good enough to submit or not, and then what's wrong with them, and go from there. But this is a Sunday. It's been a lot of fun. Well, I just got done inventorying the books that I'm going to sell off. So I guess nothing left to do now but a week in review. Hello. Well, it's time to review the week, I guess. It's cold weather again. It's broken record, I'm sure. It's end of March or middle of March, I guess, and it's still really cruddy out, but that's okay. It'll get better. We've had a couple of nice days here and there. My birthday is tomorrow, so I'm hoping I get a little bit of a nice day, but if not, I'll figure it out. But this week was fun. Start off Sunday. My friend Mike, who's in videos a lot with me, it was his birthday Monday, so we celebrated on Sunday, and I went over there and we went through a whole stack of books that I had to see if we were going to what would be submitted and what wouldn't be. And I ended up with quite a few. I think it was probably 56, 57, something like that, books that I'm sending in on top of the 30-some that I already sent in. So the next couple weeks and months are going to be great. You're going to have a lot of CGC stuff coming back. So only 3 books didn't cut the grade, and where I cut it off, and the kind of the formula we use is the difference between selling something raw and selling it slabbed that different, and is it worth the cost? So these are the 3 books that didn't meet that criteria. They're nice books, and I'm going to sell them, but I'll sell them raw. First one is Showcase number 60. It's the first appearance of Spectre. It's nice. It's probably a 6.5, I think. But the cost to submit this and then what I would get for it on the open market really doesn't make sense. The next one is Avengers 196, and I had 2 of these. The direct edition was actually in much nicer shape. It's probably to come back in the high 9s. This one has 2 very small, probably 16 to almost to 1/8 of an inch tears right here. So this book, at tops would be an 8, and even though it is a newsstand, it still wouldn't fetch enough to slab it. And then the last one is Marvel Spotlight number 32, first appearance of Spider-Woman. So those are the 3 books that didn't make the cut. That's fine. Out of 60 books, I think only 3 didn't make it, so it's pretty good average, I think. I'm still going to sell them, and they'll help me get towards what I want to get to. I think I have doubles of all of them too, so it's not that big a deal. But it was fun. Afterward we went to go see Black Panther. Really good. I don't know if I'm as crazy about it as some of the other people were. It had some plot holes, and I'm sure all movies do. Just minor things, I guess. But it was good. It's interesting the way they have that character set up now, and I'm sure it'll play a big role in the upcoming Avengers movies. So it was good. It's entertaining. I waited 40 years to see superhero movies, so I'm not going to complain. Anything's better than the old made-for-TV Captain America movies where he had a Captain America van with a motorcycle in it, and he ran around with a motorcycle helmet on. So I'm not going to complain. These are better than anything that I imagine would ever happen. So and then pickups. I do look a lot on eBay still, but I'm looking more at the higher end books that I want to get, just to kind of gauge where things are, so that if I do come across one, at a con or at a show, or a dealer contacts me and lets me know, because I've put out the word what I'm looking for, that I know the market really well, and I don't have to go on and look at my phone or anything like that. So it's not a slow week. Kind of fun though. It's kind of fun looking at fewer books than looking at hundreds of books, trying to fill runs and things like that. But I was with my wife and we went to Hobby Lobby and she was looking at stuff, so then I walked down and I didn't realize they have a huge aisle of just comic book type stuff, and some of it's kind of hinky and silly, but you know, more akin for a kid's room. But I came across something that I think is awesome, and they had some kind of crazy sale on. So this thing's normally $17.99, but I think I ended up paying $4 for it. Fantastic Four #1, and it's tin and it's relief. So if you have a Hobby Lobby in your area, I think they have one of these, and they didn't have any, but I saw a spot where they had Amazing Fantasy 15 as well. I'm going to keep an eye out for that, because those are two that I think are cool. And it's cool the way they have it aged, but it's just neat. And I like things like this that are metal or wood. You'll have them for a long time. And they had some kind of 50% off sale, and she had something on her phone for another 40 on top of that, so we paid almost nothing for that. So I grabbed it, so that was a good one for me. And then I got something else, something on this list. And you know, it's one of those things where you just got to be ready to jump on it. This you know, came across, and I grabbed it, and I'm glad I did. So I'll take it out of its mylar. Off go the panties. Anyway, it is Avengers #4, one of my Grail books, and I'm beyond happy that I got this. It's great. It's a 5.0, really clean, a super clean book. And the biggest thing is this bottom right or bottom left corner is always jacked up on books, and people feel the need to color that in, or did over time. But this one had a great corner on it. The back is dirty. I think it needs a good cleaning. It's got a little bit of a minor spine roll, and it's the old style cases, and they don't fit great. So there's a little bit of that on there where there's a little bit of gap, and it just, I don't like the fit of these things. So I can get the grader's notes. I'm not going to worry about it. I think I'm going to crack this open and clean it up nice, so it's nice and pretty. And it may need a press, it may not, I don't know, but this is for me and my collection. So extremely, obviously happy to get this, and it's one of my top 5 books that I wanted to get, and it's on the list. So time for the ceremony. Avengers 4. So that just leaves Justice League 19 and All-Star Western 10, which I'm starting to cool off on. You know, when I put that on the list back in November when I made this list, that book wasn't going for as much. And I know I've seen it at shows 7.0 to 8.0 for around $100 raw. But now that book is just exploding, and I don't know, exploding, but for that it's doubled in price. I noticed 8.0s are, people want at least $400, between $400 and $300, and I like the book, but I don't like it that much. I have the reprint of it in Jonah Hex #5 is the reprint, so I don't know that I'm going to chase that any further. But we'll see. If it comes up, it comes up. If not, I don't really care. Same thing with Justice League 19. I love the cover. I've never read the story. I'm not a big DC fan. I just like the cover. I'm not going to overpay for that either. So if I have to wait, I have to wait. Doesn't bother me. But anyway, that kind of brings me into the sermon for today. As I get older, I realize that the less I have, you know, the less I want, the less I have, kind of a thing. You know, and then whenever I have, and this is not just for comic books, but pretty much for everything. You know, I'm thinking of selling my house and moving to a smaller house, and just things like that, like getting rid of things that I hung on to, and I've been giving stuff away and selling stuff, and it just, the feeling that you get is great, especially when you give stuff away to somebody. You know, if you have something on your shelf that you haven't been using, a tool or a comic book or a card collection or something, you just give it to somebody who really needs it or wants it. It's really great. So I'd encourage doing that to everybody. You know, a lot of this is just, you know, on the eve of me, you know, having a birthday. It just, the older I get, the less I want is I guess what it is. And I think I've been paying more attention to what I want, and that's what, you know, thinking about the All-Star Western 10, and there's a few other books that I used to have and always be looking for, but I don't know that I really want them. And I sometimes wonder if, and this is what I think we all need to look at doing, and it kind of leads into the homework as well. You know, what are you chasing? Do you really want that thing? You know, do you really want that comic book? Maybe it's just because you've seen it in so many videos, or people in your friend group or in this YouTube community, you know, they want it, they want it, they want it. You know, if you think of like an All-Star Western might be part of that for me. I do like Western books, but I've always liked them because they were inexpensive and they had funky, cool looking covers. And I love Westerns because it reminds me of being at my grandparents' house or watching old Westerns with my dad. So I think that's why I'm drawn to them. But to spend $300-400 on a Jonah Hex book from 1972 doesn't seem to make sense to me. I don't want to spend that on that kind of a book. So that's, I guess, think about what you're doing, and are you getting this because that's what you really want? And think about it. Do you really want that thing, that book in this case, say that comic book? Or maybe subconsciously you just want it because that's what the herd's doing. The herd's chasing after it. And the big book that I think of all the time is when I first meet comic book people, they always first question, you talk about your collection, things like that, and hey, you got a Hulk 181, and that's what everyone always says. And I don't own Hulk 181. I've never owned it. I had 2 copies of 182. I sold both of them. I'm sure it's blasphemous. I don't think it's particularly a good cover. I'm not a big fan of Wolverine. I know that'll get thumbs down and a bunch of unsubs, but that's fine. I don't know. I've never seen, I've never been attracted to that character, storyline, or any of it. So for me, I've never succumbed to wanting to get that in my collection, nor do I feel the need that I have to have that book or certain books to legitimize my collection. I think maybe when you're younger you feel that way, or if you watch YouTube, I think, you see some of these people, they have all these books, and then you think, I got to get that book, and maybe you don't. If you want to do it and you want to complete a run, that's cool. But if you're getting it just because everyone else is doing it, really think about that. I don't know. I would just say don't do that, but obviously it's your choice. But I know I will never own Hulk 181 in my personal collection. If I see it at a good price and I can get it and clean it up and sell it, I'll do that. But it's just not a book I really want in my collection. So, and there's a lot of other ones that I could go on about too, that are the keys or hot books that people always have. But so for homework, think about it. It's just an easy one. This is a mental exercise. Think about a book or something. It doesn't have to be a comic. This could be something else in life that you've always felt, self-induced pressure to do or get. And then just think about, do I really want that thing or do that thing? And if the answer is no, then don't do it. And you're not going to believe how much better you feel once you do that. So they're all kind of tied together today. So as far as recommendations go, I enjoyed, it was another Monster of the Week type thing with X-Files. It's pretty good. I don't want to talk about it because there's stuff in there. I don't want to give away the story. It was pretty interesting. It kind of reminded me a lot of the old, what's it called? Oh, anyway, it just reminded me of some old science fiction-y type thing. I guess it more like a Twilight Zone feel. It kind of had to it a little bit. A little bit, maybe a little Kolchak too, a little bit of that. So it was neat. There was a cult kind of involved, so it was kind of cool. And then Jessica Jones, I think I'm on episode 6 or 7. It's good. I feel the same I feel about all the Netflix shows. They really should condense them down. And I understand there's more money involved if they go longer. But it feels like to me she could have done this whole thing. Her whole story arc could have been taken care of in 4 hour-long episodes. It's just, there's a lot of stretching out there, and maybe they're trying to develop the side characters, but yeah, I don't really care about that. And then they can take all the bedroom scenes and throw those out. I really don't care for any of that garbage either. It's not why I'm watching Jessica Jones, but I guess it's, they know what they're doing because people will watch it. But it's still good. I'd say watch it. I still like it better than all the other series. I think it's because less and less I'm drawn to the superhero genre, especially if they're wearing costumes and things like that. It doesn't appeal to me like it did when I was a kid. So no one wears costumes in that show. So, but that's all I got this week. As far as picks of the week, the 2 videos, and I'll put them in the comments down below. Charlton 66 and Silver Planet did the tag video that I tagged the 2 of them in. I think they both did a really nice job. I love hearing the stories of why people collect, or why they have this certain book, or why this book is important to them. It's so much more important to me than, this is the first appearance of this person, and this is how much this book is worth, and all that kind of stuff. There's just some great stories, and you know, I think the guys that I tagged are all similar in age to me too, so their stories are kind of my stories, but they're in different parts of the country, so it's just very interesting to see how we all kind of experienced the same thing during the same time period. So it was really cool. So that's all I got. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you all next time. She's a beauty. I'm going to be cracking this, so when I do, I'll do a video about it. I'll do a before and after. Anyway, see ya.